Black magic, God, Holy Ghost, Lord, orgasmic, order more acid, more than 4 tablets, portal door passage, born before mortal war happened. We were lords way before we were poor black men. Now we like Catherine, only having 4 Jacksons. Sword of pure magic, slaughter 4 dragons. Heat like corduroy fabric, door-to-door tactics. Easy like tortoise on boarded floor backspins. Rapping like the man that created it, and I just play with it. Shine radiant, raising it, sunbathing it. Voice tone sharper than razor tip. When I aim it at megaliths, make them raise and lift. You can't relate to this, even if you paint a pic of me and you and somehow make the faces switch. I like to babysit, throne made of baby skin, donated by natives that procreate in sin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Put the globe on my middle finger and made it spin. They gon' need to raise the rim, they gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Even Damien and Satan is afraid of him. I heard the devil's Tasmanian. Raps made them spin fast, vast, hailing winds. Abstract radiance. Underneath my crack cranium is gas radium. Hash Cascadian, cash cascading in. At the end of the movie, the crack baby wins. Pack track stadiums, clap, clap, praising him. Tap that waitress, have crack.
Peace, family. Welcome to another. Watch out, brother. Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Productions. This your host, Brother Rich, out here with the red and the blue pill. 125th. Enjoying this spring day. Blue, man. I don't know where you been at, my brother. I don't know where you been at. The family ain't seen you in a minute.
Yes, indeed.
We starting to think that you ain't from New York no more, brother.
International P. Hold on.
Wait, we got hold on. Real quick. I get we need cameo. We need the cameo.
Say peace to the fam real quick.
International P.
That's International P.
That's International P.
This is the new International P right here.
I ain't international yet, but intergalactical. I've been around.
You've been around all of the
universe. I've been around the universe. You know what I'm saying? Traveling the universe, running into amazing Black Magic 363 avid listeners and viewers. Shout out to all of y'all. Y'all all know that you family. I love you. I love everywhere that I've been, everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard. And I'm back on the grid to give it up. Peace, love, and light. Yes.
All right, listen, man. A lot of things going on in the media.
Yes, a lot.
But what I want to talk about right now, first of all, before we start, we have, this is the best lineup. One of the best lineups I have been privy to see in the grassroots, conscious, underground circuit. Phil Valentine, Dr. Phil Valentine, Aseer The Duke, Brother Panic,
yes.
All in the same building at the same time this Sunday, June 3rd. I have people coming in from all over the world.
Yes.
People from all over the world are coming in to see this. They're coming in from all over in the world to tune into this. It's going to be monumental, man. I want the family. Make sure you're there. If you can't be there physically, tune in virtually. Go to the live stream. But Red and Blue's going to be there. We got the best vendors from all over the world. We got the best food from all over the world. I mean, this is going to be a spectacular event.
Cambatta's performing.
Cambatta, we're going to see about that. It's so much going on that day.
Giving them the live stream information because people have been asking me in my travels how they could watch it.
Yes, they could go to usalivestream.com/metaphysical masters. It's on every single video. So, I mean, it's on every single, if you really want to watch it, you know how to watch it.
Yeah. All right.
Don't start conversation for the sake of starting conversation. It's there for everybody that wants to see it in the building. With that being said, listen, about 10 years ago, Blueprint 322, am I correct?
Blueprint 322, yes.
All right, 10 years ago, Blueprint 322, you guys said some things, made some predictions. You guys you wear weird crystals, you wear weird kind of things, and you guys are into weird sciences that some people might call pseudo. For some reason, you guys make
metaphysics, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or metaphysics.
Right.
Yeah. for some reason, you guys make predictions that come true a lot of times. I want to use this one example because Blue Pill was so on point with this, and I'm trying to figure out if Blue Pill knows this, what else, how can we use this science to know a lot of other things coming down the line? You know, I'm putting on my investigative hat, and Blue Pill keeps talking about this Law of 44, and I'm trying to figure out, we have this, hip-hop, the most influential culture in the world at this time.
In its 44th year.
In its 44th year, and if you don't know that, you're asleep under a rock, and if you're wondering why we're talking about hip-hop, you totally don't get the point. #1 export in America.
That in software.
They asked Jay-Z, Jay-Z was like, this is our natural resource. Hip-hop, yeah. Ooh. So there's a reason why we're talking about this. Please don't ask us why we're talking about hip-hop. But Blue, when you said you're studying astrology, you're studying these sciences, and you're talking about Drake and Kanye, and you're talking about the Dracos constellation, you're talking about this other constellation, and you're studying the stars, and you're saying because of what's happening in the stars, this has to go down on planet Earth with the stars down here. I'm not explaining it exactly how you explain it. I need you to go in what you said 10 years ago, why you said it, and why it came true, my brother.
Indeed. 10 years ago, I was researching and preparing for our debut lecture. It was called Blueprint 322. And this lecture was in response to what was going on in the internet, initially with them saying that hip-hop was being taken over by the Illuminati, or the fact that, you know, symbolism, comedic symbolism was being introduced into hip-hop coincidentally at the same time that we were introducing it through street fashion. And then they were identifying that as devil iconography, you know, devil worship. So we did a lecture with A.A. Rashid, I believe Ampu was there, Black Dot, you know what I'm saying? And it was Blueprint 322. As a result of me having two of these masterful teachers to pull resources from, I was studying Kabbalah under A.A. Rashid, and I was studying astrology under Noble Ampu. And at that particular time, what I ran into was just the peculiarity of this particular number that had always spoken to me, because one of my favorite artists at the time, Jay-Z, used to always speak on the 4s and the 44s in particular. So I was already intrigued, you know what I'm saying, by the number, and I started doing a little bit more research, asking a little bit more questions. Like, what does this number mean, and what is the connections in Hebrew? You know, how can we go into Kabbalah and extract this information? At the time, I was introduced to gematria, which is the system for deducing an alphanumeric value for a word, right? And this system that I was using, it was a system that was counting by 6. So A equals 1, B equals 12, C equals 18, and things of that nature. So I was able to deduce that the number for hip hop was 432, which also is the number for world. And when you break that down, you get 234 was the active number for hop, right? And then they had hip and hop had two definitions to me that spoke directly to the fact that it can't be a coincidence. One was, the definition was tree, and the other was branch. You know what I'm saying? One was door and one was north. So I started looking up rappers' names that coincided with this energy as well. And I found out that Kanye West, his energy was Polaris. With at that time, the Polaris is the North Star. It was our equinox. You know,
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Before North was born?
Before North was born, right? I called all of this, right? So it was the fixed star Polaris. It's called Little Bear, right? In the Little Dipper constellation, it's the Ursa Minor, right? So his iconography was a teddy bear. So I'm like, how could this be a coincidence? Here you go.
What was the name of his first album?
That's how he came in.
College Dropout. Right.
He brought in the little bear. And then in the album
little teddy
cover,
bear.
He shoots the little bear out the cannon in Graduation.
He used that iconography continuously. He popularized the polo teddy bear from Ralph Lauren.
He brought the polo bear back.
He brought the polo bear back, coincidentally bringing polo back with the pink polo and you know, Louis and all of that. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is very interesting. You know, And then I started studying about the equinox and the precession of the equinox, and then I came into a constellation called Draco. So I was like, this is very interesting now.
Right.
Okay? So I start doing my research, and I'm like, well, what are the chances that the stars, quote unquote, that we're influenced by are actually representation of constellations and bodies? Because the God bodies told me that I was God. So if I'm telling you that you're a constellation,
as above, so below.
Down.
As above, so below.
Fact.
Right, as above, so below. But what's a constellation to a God body? That's just you know, that's just gas in the body of God. So it's not a big thing for me to say, oh, let alone a constellation, but a star can be representative of a person on Earth, and we're sentient like beings. So it's not far-fetched, and we're made for stardust. Fact. Don't get in your feelings in the chat room, because when I mentioned that before, they was like, stardust, what are you talking about? You guys are very
just broke that down.
Yeah. Shout out to Ross Ben. So I'm studying all of this. In the precession of the equinox, right, one fixed star is going to be replaced with the other fixed star. So 2012 is coming, and they keep talking about these changing of the ages. And I'm like, what does it mean, and how can we identify it? What does it mean to us, though? Not us looking, because we're hip-hop, right? If we're hip-hop, stop telling me that what's going on in Mexico is going to have this impactful effect on the planet. How does it involve us? Right? Because we're here, we're in America, we're in the Mexum, but we're the activating principle here, generating all of this currency and energy on the planet. So where are we at in these stories? So our stories have to be one from the stars. And these are the people that are guiding the other light beings. So they have to be fixed stars. So I'm looking at, right, hip and hop. Like I said, 234 is Polaris. Polaris is a fixed point. So when I'm looking at hip hop as a art form, no one ever sat on the throne of hip hop north of the Bronx. The fixed point. Because remember, the Bronx is the only part of the continental United States. Everything else is islands. None of this shit is connected to quote unquote America. This is America. No, this is an island in America. But landmass, continental, the Bronx is the only fixed point. So I said, if this is the fixed point, if this is Polaris, no one has ever sat on a seat here. And all of the rain from hip hop, you have to come to New York. So the Locks had to come to the Bronx. DMX had to come down. Mary J. Blige had to come down. Puffy had to come down. Heavy D had to come down. Ain't nobody sit up in Mount Vernon or anywhere above the Bronx and rain. Never happened. Even Kanye had to come from the Midwest and get, you know, sit in his seat here. So the reason why we were identifying Kanye as the leader of the genre or the leader of the new age or the new school is because they had the prototypical 9/11 showdown, right? The first 9/11 showdown was on 9/11. It's with Jay-Z and Nas. When one entity was trying to occupy the realm of spirituality coming from the realm of materialism, and then the other entity who was sitting on the throne of spirituality wanted to dabble in the realm of materialism, which was Nas wanted to go for spirituality and be a Don, and Son wanted to go from being the philosophical Don to saying, I want to get into street knowledge, spirituality, philosophy. He's like, I'm the real street disciple. So they fought that out on 9/11. Who won that war or versus that battle is still up in the air. But they remixed that battle on 9/11 for the sales fight that Kanye had with the Gorilla. So the Bear versus the Gorilla when Kanye went up against 50 Cent on 9/11 and he demolished them. And gangster rap ain't been the same since.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Wow.
So the gangsters didn't come in, changed the era, changed the wave. So the rich kids, the little Uzi Verts, the Young Thugs, and the Tekashis, all of that is Kanye's babies. Right. That's why this time is so interesting to see what's going on in hip hop. Right. And you're seeing their leader, the ASAPs, all of them. And even, so when I seen Drake come, I'm like, this is his this is one of his acolytes. This is somebody that studied under him, but this ain't him. This is a whole nother, so what did I tell people? Before the album even came out, he was just on his single, right? And we went.
Best I ever had?
Best I ever had.
Best I ever had, yeah.
And the album was coming. And what was the album called?
You know he came with that same album before,
I forget.
and every label turned him down. And he came with that same album.
I had brought his album to a friend of mine.
We was listening.
I was listening to the album and pushing him when I was in the industry before.
Lisa Rome from Universal got fired over that. He got rid of it.
So we go to Serpent Mound before the album even came out, to Ritual, but before we went to Atlanta to do the Ritual, we went to Serpent Mound, right? Because Serpent Mound, the serpent and the dragon and the Draco whole aspect is what was in play at the time, and we were just coming into the information about mounds and earth energy and earth centers and energy grids. And so we go out there, we do a ritual, we come back, right? The eye that's in the constellation of Draco is called Rastaban. They had, the minute we left, the volcano erupts, the Rastaban volcano, all this stuff just started going on, and I'm like, whoa, right? Even Brother Panic, he had did a lecture like a day or two after that, and he was talking about Rastaban, right? I remember I had called the brother, and I was like, yo, you know, he was talking, nigga, I don't know. Shout out to Brother Panic. But he thought I was trolling him and shit. So we just started seeing a lot of stuff that was going on that was coinciding with these events that only existed at that time in our head. We was like, whoa, this is a little too much. All the way to the fact that when the Source put Drake on the cover, they said this is the new religion. You know what I'm saying? So they was already putting him in a position in terms of his godhood. And I was like, damn, he ain't even dropped an album yet. And y'all not even, you know what I'm saying? Kanye was the man at that time. Remember, Kanye even felt threatened because he had to come and direct his first video because he's like, I gotta keep.
He was the director.
I gotta keep this nigga next to me. You feel me? This is the next one. So I'm like, yo, not only is he the next one, he's gonna change the whole nature of the game. So even when I added up his name, Drake's name added up or equaled the same thing that I said North equal to, right? So I'm like, okay, they're gonna move the throne a little bit further north. It's gonna go to Canada for the first time ever. It's gonna go north of the Bronx. And everything that I said was gonna happen, of course, we seen it happen. You know what I'm saying? So the procession already changed. But the thing about the procession, I read it backwards. I was reading it retrograde wise. The procession actually is going from Polaris to another one. It came out of Draco before it went to Polaris. But we live in bizarre world, so this shit ass backward. It very well, goddamn, as far as I'm concerned, it probably swung back to Draco. So we already are in the draconian energy, hence the term the rappers are using the Draco, okay, and all of this stuff. That all came recently.
How long are we gonna be in this draconian energy?
I think these cycles are 2,160 years, something like that. You feel me? So the Draco energy is now permanently supplanted that we're witnessing. When I saw Kanye West, I think this was before the Pablo, this was on the last album, it might have been the Yeezus, he got on stage and gave the crown to Drake. He's like, this is the new God in Toronto. He's like, this is the new one. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's the inaugural procession. We're just gonna see his star declining at this point. So again, I'm observing this, I'm the observer. I'm calling this stuff, but I'm not saying that I'm responsible for it. But now I'm watching Kanye play afterwards. So he comes out with Pablo on the 44th day of the year, which was February 13th, right? Pablo goes platinum on April 4th of the next year. You feel me? Then he goes to Wyoming to make this new album, which is the 44th state. You feel me? And then you got Jay with 444, and you got Drake coming with Scorpion right after he come out with Scorpion King. So I'm just observing, like I said, I'm just watching this and seeing how all of these things are playing out, you know what I'm saying, planetary wise. And what's necessary, because the narrative is more important somewhat than the play. Like, okay, what do these people represent and what are they gonna change? You know what I'm saying? And what is this intermingling or beef that they have? Because Jay-Z, as I told you last time, before 444 came, when I did the prediction on this channel, and I said what? I said, Jay-Z is Scorpion. I didn't say that he was born as a Scorpion. I didn't say that Sean Carter was a Scorpion. I said utilizing gematria, when you add up the name Jay-Z, it's the same number as Scorpion. You understand? So I said he has scorpionic tendencies, right? Dealing with ego and materialism and all of that stuff. So I said 444 has to be the album where he kills Jay-Z, okay, to get out of ego so he could transform, because this is all about 444 is Damascus. And Damascus is the road that Paul took, and it's all about transformation, the scorpionic energy. So I'm reading this shit for what it is and exactly what I said, even to to the point where the first song on the goddamn album is Kill Jay-Z. And Kill in Gematria is 44. You understand? Huh? So I'm like,
Blue, man. Cut this out, man.
Like,
cut this out,
what else do they want?
Yo, Blue.
What Tyrese? What more do they want?
What do they want from me?
So now you see this situation where, again, and as we identified when Kanye got snatched, we was the first one to identify the fact that I'm like, yo, they went in his head. They hit him with the elephant juice. He'll never be the same. He's a shell of his former self, right? Just like that constellation is a shell of his former self. But that's the same star that Harriet Tubman used. That's the same star that all of the people that he spoke about in his narration about slavery used his energy that he represents as Polaris to find their way back home. What was people telling Kanye after that? You need to find your way back home.
Come home.
Okay?
Yep. Come home.
Damn, bro.
So we're seeing a falling, dying star. We're seeing a constellation that's no longer in use. We're not on Piscean time. We're Aquarius, which also equals 44. Okay?
That way.
Yo.
That way. So now you see Drake coming to the full blossoming of, you know what I'm saying? What he said on the song? I might hear G-O-D. Hey. I mean,
he's embracing his godhood.
He's embracing his godhood. He called himself the sixth god.
The sixth god. He wasn't saying that back then. He wasn't talking God talk. He wasn't. That's become him.
Yeah, he's become that. He's coming to that place.
Said he might go down as G-O-D.
And
and he out here moving like Thanos.
I'm not saying that I'm responsible. I'm not the one. I'm not Geppetto in this particular situation. I'm not saying that I'm the one that's dangling the cords and I'm responsible for homie's career. You feel me? I'm just saying that I utilize science. The things that I could get my hands on at the time metaphysically that made the most sense to me and made me feel comfortable, because I'm like, this is hip hop. If we the gods, right? And again, I'm talking about us, my people, as us as a people. If we're occupying this space, then what the hell is this space? Because this is the place that regular people get Christian for a minute and they go to God overnight.
Facts.
And the platform called hip hop.
And usually in that building right across the street, the Apollo.
You know what I'm saying? So if
walk in there, if
this particular station that we occupy, this divination, is called hip hop, and it does these things for us, and our power is encased in it, and it runs the world. You feel me? Which means that it's galactically the shit. Like, if there's entities anywhere else on, they listening. They're like, hey,
yeah,
I go down and do it. You know what I mean? They're listening to hip hop. You feel me? So it didn't seem far-fetched to me to put us in that perspective, to observe us from that place. You dig what I'm saying?
Right. So Blue, are we, with that being said, are we following a script that was already handed to us before we came down here? Or are we writing our own script as we go along?
I'm a paradoxal, quote-unquote, believer that both of those things take place. And I believe that we live our lives backward, from ending to beginning.
Huh?
You feel me?
Come on. Explain that to me. Backwards?
I'm saying that when we come here, we have a prescribed time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So your stopwatch begins immediately.
Yeah.
When you're getting here, that countdown is going backwards.
Right.
You understand? So
I like when I hear new thought. That's a new thought I haven't.
Once we delve a little bit deep into that will have us explain how we're writing our own reality. But the realm of probabilities are always going to be multifaceted. Infinite, yeah.
Infinite.
Right? Think about the potentiality that exists in a second.
Right.
It's infinite.
Right.
Because it's 1 trillion for you, and the other, you know what I'm saying, 6 or 7 billion people that's on the planet. So it's numbers that we can't even put a count on. So I do feel that we are writing, actively co-creating our realities, but those branches have already leveled and been determined on some adjustment bureau shit. Right? If you go this way, that's the end result of that, or you could go this way and choose this and go, you know what I mean? Like,
it's all based off of decision. It's all based off of man having will. And the decisions, left or right, you know what I mean? Those are where the infinite possibilities lie in. So, right.
Indeed. So what do you think about Kanye's energy? You said Kanye's energy is dying out, right?
Yeah, he's a dissipating constellation.
But check this out.
Yes, he's a dying star.
His dragon brother just came in, Donald Trump. So how is he dying out? But his dragon brother, again, that twin energy that he associates so hard with, just came in the door.
He's dying out too. He's dying out too. And they're twinning with the 44 principle. Them being Geminis, because I already explained, Trump is the 44th president by way of the fact that Grover Cleveland was the 22nd and the 24th president. One man occupied 2 presidencies in our timeline. So Obama was the 43rd president. Trump is the 44th. You know what I'm saying? 44 is a number that works with Gemini by way of, again, once you go into gematria, or once you go into the goetic demons that Crowley had brought forth when he brought out the 72 Goetia. Yeah. One of them is Gimiel, I believe. It's a demon, but it's the archdemon that governs Gemini, right? So I was able to extract that information when I was researching Biggie Smalls, another Gemini. You feel me? And so I feel that the Trump situation, Trump and Kanye have a lot in common.
Amber Rose said when she seen Trump, she was like, "That's Kanye in a white man's body."
This is the age of the asshole. So they both coincidentally, the level of arrogance, the level of I have something to prove because you guys have doubted me and counted me out, you know what I'm saying? And that's always gonna be their driving force. You feel me?
Right.
I didn't say that, even as a dying star, he's still gonna kick up stardust. We're still gonna get great things that come from that situation. You're gonna get beats on these albums that you love. You feel me? He might even have a single that might make you forget about a few things and get back into Kanye mode. But the glory of what we've seen, that's came and gone. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of him directing hip hop's direction, right? His insecurity, that's gone. His insecurities has always been Drake. That this young guy is gonna come and be the person who's directing the narrative and the sound, and I can no longer have, you know what I'm saying, reign and prominence in that particular field. He's not concerned with Lil Wayne. He's not concerned with motherfucking Rich the Kid and you know what I mean? Migos and nothing. No. Motherfucking Drake. That's what keeps him up at night.
Well, since you made this prediction 10 years ago, just studying hip hop, knowing it's in its 44th year, where do you see hip hop going within the next 10 years?
When the next 10 years?
Yeah, like you made a prediction 10 years ago. Let's say next year, the year after next, is it going to be here? Is it going to evolve into something, totally unrecognizable?
Unrecognizable. You're going to have 44-year-old niggas selling out arenas, coliseums, talking that cloth talk.
Get it.
It's never been seen before.
Get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it.
So we got that double album out.
That's twin.
We got that twin out, you know what I'm saying? But I feel that, Obama was somebody, he was considered the first hip hop president, right? But I feel that we're gonna have an actual, person that runs on a platform of hip hop, whether they're on their campaign freestyling or putting rhymes together, whether it's somebody that we know from the genre that decides to run, whether it be Kanye or Jay, or I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But I think that hip hop is gonna shift itself into politics, because what I'm seeing with Meek Mill is very interesting. What I'm hearing Pusha T talk about, you know what I mean? In regards to how he was directly involved with these campaigns and prison reform and all of these things. I think that all of that is gonna have to mesh. I feel that hip hop's response to Trump has to be hip hop, but now we're seeing the possibility that it might split because he might get him some hitters. You feel me? He might get him some hitters with, he might come with a whole team to the battle rap, like, you know what I mean? My team against yours, like, it might get dark, it might get bizarro out here, so I think that hip hop is gonna be in a very unrecognizable place. You know what I mean? Because already we're hearing sounds and music saying that these artists are just melody focused and they're not lyricists. So maybe, you know, this is still in the realm of hip hop, but it's not hip hop as we knew it or know it. So hip hop as itself is not something that has the clearest level of definition that we can identify and say, oh, this is always gonna be hip hop, or this is always, people are always switching up and saying, oh, that's not hip hop. How can it not be? Then what is it? What other form of music are we participating in at this particular time that's self-identifying to who we are as a culture?
Well, last question, Blue. It's been an amazing presentation out here on 125th, man. You can't get this on the street just anywhere, man. This is some amazing shit, man. That was amazing, Blue. Yeah. That was amazing. Let me show y'all the family out here. I don't know if your mom being on the camera, but the family is definitely out here. The family's out here with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the people's just...
This brother right here, he advertised in the beginning of the video. Shout out to that.
God.
You know. So, last question, my brothers. We've seen so many cultures, musical cultures, come and go.
Yes.
Die, jazz, rock and roll. We even see R&B. We even see R&B come and go. What is it about hip hop that makes it such a dominant force? Something, maybe the world has never seen something like hip hop. This dominant and lasted for so long and influencing generations, corporations, races, cultures, everything you could think of, everything moving, hip hop influences. What is it about it?
Again, because of cosmological factors and the way that things are structured, our generation, the ones that were born, right, that are in their plus 40s and some maybe early 50s, we are the torchbearers, right, that represent the cusp of what was old, right? We have feet in both. We have the feet in the Piscean world and we have the feet in Aquarian. So the fact that we are traversing through life, right, pretty much affecting everything that we come into contact with. My generation was responsible for a lot of things that I physically saw change reality. The way that things have been done, and they're gonna be done forever. You gotta build on the ashes of that. You can't get underneath it. So in terms of fashion, in terms of, you know, how we vocalize, how we, you know what I'm saying, how we fraternize, how we fornicate, all of these things have been changed through the lens of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's not necessarily a sanitized lens, you feel me? But it's who we are as a people at this particular point. Hip hop identifies our badge, our wounds and, you know what I'm saying, and our scars. And, you know, I have always said that hip hop is the embodiment and the testament of integration. Hip hop is the child of integration. You know what I'm saying?
Hip hop is the child of integration.
Hip hop is the child of integration.
Okay.
In the late 60s, early 70s, the house was still burning. It was smoldering though. There was smoke coming in and shit. But that TV was still hanging. You know what I'm saying? There was still a seat sitting at the table. Some motherfuckers got and sat at tables that was scarred and charred and burnt, and shit was still, beams was still falling out the ceiling and all that. They were still going in the fridge. They were still wiping down the TV like, but I never had this. You know what I mean? So we set up shop in a burning house that was already been gutted. You feel me? And when we left and ran into that particular house that's already gutted, so we can enjoy the things that we have been kept deprived from. Remember, they built the wall up categorically or symbolically between our community and quote unquote their community. So the first opportunity that we get to run into their community, we're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? What's the first thing niggas do when they get some bread? They get the fuck up out of the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to experience new things and we're attracted to shiny things. You hear niggas say it all the time. I started selling drugs because this nigga's rims was shiny when I was 3. Okay? So we could be impressed upon by shiny things on that level. God damn it. What you think skyscrapers is doing to the mentalities of some of these niggas? You feel me? They want to participate in any and every way they can with Americanism. Who wants to fucking live in America and be an illegal alien? Nobody. They want to be accepted and they want to participate in Americanism. So integration was the way that they was able to integrate that. It was a trade-off, okay? Let me come into your house and I'm gonna open up this window and little Sammy and little Bobby can peep into my crib. You feel me? Without having to get on the expressway like Rockefeller or you know what I'm saying? And end up dead in a fucking hotel on 116th from a dope overdose. They don't want that no more. They're like, oh, we could just pop a CD in and get the same effect. We could get a cruise across 110th Street and we ain't gotta physically be there. For $19.99 you can. So it's a trade-off, you know what I'm saying? Because who's occupying those stadiums? Who's buying those albums? Who has the posters on the wall besides Shaquita? You know what I'm saying? And Raheem.
So
okay, it's Catherine in them.
So in an economy that we've identified as the attention economy, the fact that hip hop is the most popular music. I'm not talking about music only though. I said hip hop, so we're referring to people. Because once you identify what hip hop is, you remove it from a single or a hit record and you say that the world is infatuated with black people. That's the telltale sign about who's been powering this thing and who continues to power it. They changed the name, they put a picture of some posters of some artists up there and said these are the people that white people in all of the world and people all around the world, not just Europeans, but the Asians who always was looking up to who? The chosen ones. You understand? The ones who dictate, right? Although there's an occupying force that's trying or attempting to dictate what is known as culture or to dictate what is known as how to live or lifestyle, there came another lifestyle, there came another culture that was more dominant than that actually won the war. You know how you identified that 50 and Kanye war? Well, there's a war that was taking place between cultures. There was a culture war that took place, started in the 80s and took place in the 90s, although the culture's being steered by people who don't look like us, but it doesn't even matter. Those people will be considered, you know what I'm saying, participants in that war who helped on this side. For whatever. Use
an example. I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
Use an example.
I'm talking about the fact that popular culture was once in the hands of white dominant society. Anglo-Saxon dominant society. Rockers. I grew up listening to David Bowie. I grew up watching
and they worship these dudes.
Hot Tracks, Friday Hot Tracks. We were listening to Sting, David Bowie,
Duran Duran,
Hall & Oates. Anybody from anybody who was born in the 70s and all of that, the early 80s, they know what was on TV. So that cult, that we were more confused. Yes, fact. This is America. Then let me take a So the culture of hip hop, all bite. Although people don't agree with it and we could point out the negatives and everything, but like the brother pointed out, if I just identify that hip hop is man, it's body, it's 5 pillars. MCing, right? Being an orator, being a poet, an MC, utilizing spell or the word, right? To cast spells. The DJ, manipulating sound, the one who plays the music, you understand? The one who has the different ear than everybody else. The break dancer, the movement, the body, you know what I'm saying? The manipulation, the way that the music, the way that we knew that hip hop was more dominant and like he said, a child of not just integration, but an evolution of that whole movement and whatnot is because of the way that it made the body move. You understand? Them dudes was spinning on their heads on cardboards in the hood when buildings was burning. So it brought back, and you could see different videos lined up with African culture or African dancing. And we doing the same thing. Nobody can't, we don't got no Nigerian dance cultures though. The Nigerians then start dabbing, you know, I'm just saying, it's still in our DNA. So the music and the culture and the participation in the culture. When you go to the club, I'm just saying.
Like that drum is the #1 thing in hip hop.
In hip hop,
And that drum was made by ancestors. Like in the village, they'll make a drum or whatever. That saying that right there is what got the world hypnotized.
So the drum, the world is hypnotized by the drum.
Let's speak about real quick the drum. the utilization of the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. Right,
because it's coming live. It's from live. It's from
alive.
It's from they using hide for the actual, and they using the wood.
Yeah.
And the hollow space, that's space. So that drum, is being utilized for war. That drum is being utilized for ceremony. That drum is being utilized for each and everything that we could think of and conceive. You know what I'm saying? So when we get the mechanical drum or the drum machine, the 808s and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? For many of us, this was kind of like our first experiencing synthesized instruments and what the effects on that is going to do. Because all of that denotes form. Those beats denote form. All right? So what exactly is a electronic drum machine forming, right? As opposed to, you know what I'm saying, them getting on the djembe or what have you and calling down spirits, is people getting mounted. So if we can identify that, are people getting mounted in the clubs? Because like he said, they got the spirits there. You know what I'm saying? They got the sacraments there. You feel me?
Sexual energy.
They got the sexual energy there.
You know what I mean?
They got the drums there. So what's going on?
And they even have blood sacrifices.
And they do blood sacrifices.
in the club all day.
Them chickens get beheaded.
So we live in a generation where the children under us that y'all say is buck wild, they was probably conceived in the club. Right? Or their parents met in the club. The commonality is that she had a fatty. You know what I'm saying? And he had, and his rims were spinning. And then, little nigga, here you go. You feel me? That's hip hop, unfortunately. Like, you know.
Yeah, so so the culture is something that we've all played a hand in creating. You dig what I'm saying? People identify hip hop by record labels and by who owns the record labels, and that's where they're wrong. It's 5 pillars, and one of the pillars is knowledge or consciousness, what we out here doing now. That was the missing pillar, that was the broken pillar that was removed while they was holding on to everything else. You couldn't find the consciousness. So now it's back. The world is woke, the world is conscious, people's third eyes are opened up, revelation, prophecy has been fulfilled. So where I see it going in the next 10 years is we have to take control of all 5 pillars of our culture. We just did you know, this brother just did an expert job on breaking down the metaphysics of what hip hop is and why you should participate, and not only participate, but why you should take this thing and do something with it. That's what it is. So yeah, Blue Pillar 44 at Blue Pillar 44.
Yeah, Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail. No, that's on IG.
No, that's on IG.
SOLEGOLDBIZ.com, SoGoBiz.com. Shit, I guess I gotta plug Law44.com at this point. Paranormal.com, MyPowerPieces.com. Hope I'm not missing. Oh, TwinTheAlbum.com. All right, we got physical copies, y'all. These will be going out to the family. All right, we got the red and the blue CDs and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's popping. So, please.
Yeah. Patreon /Red Pillar, kingscounty.bigcartel.com. Twin the album. All right. Love and light. Peace. 20.
Black magic. God. Holy Ghost. Lord. Orgasmic, order more acid, more than 4 tablets, portal door passage, born before mortal war happened. We were lords way before we were poor black men. Now we like Catherine, only having 4 Jacksons. Sword of pure magic, slaughter 4 dragons. Heat like corduroy fabric, door-to-door tactics. Easy like tortoise on boarded floor backspins. Rapping like the man that created it, and I just play with it. Shine radiant, raising it, sunbathing it. Voice tone sharper than razor tip. When I aim it at megaliths, make them raise and lift. You can't relate to this, even if you paint a pic of me and you and somehow make the faces switch. I like to babysit, throne made of baby skin, donated by natives that procreate in sin. They gon' need to raise the rim. They gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Put the globe on my middle finger and made it spin. They gon' need to raise the rim. They gon' need a cage in that gymnasium. I play to win, Will Still Chamberlain. Even Damien and Satan is afraid of him. I heard the devil's Tasmanian. Raps made them spin fast, vast, hailing winds. Abstract radiance. Underneath my crack cranium is gas radium. Hash Cascadian, cash cascading in. At the end of the movie, the crack baby wins. Pack track stadiums, clap, clap, praising him. Tap that waitress, have crack, crap.